So I am going to tell you the story of Jesus's week before Easter, using these resurrection eggs. Each one of these Easter eggs has a little memento to help us remember the story of how it led up until Easter and what Jesus experienced during that week. The first egg has a palm leaf in it. This is the frond of a leaf from an Easter Sunday or a Palm Sunday a long time ago, I say. But we remember that it was when Jesus rode into Jerusalem, and the people of Jerusalem were so excited. They waved the leaves and they yelled, "Hosanna, Hosanna, praise be to him." So people were so excited. So we celebrated Palm Sunday last Sunday, and that's what the palm leaf represents. The second cup has, the second egg has our bread and our cup, just like we have at communion every Sunday. This signifies, here's a bigger version so you can see it better. Some bread, a cup, and Jesus shared these during the Last Supper with his disciples. And he said to them, "Truly, one of you will betray me before this is done." Nobody believed him. They were like, "What? No, Jesus, we would never do that." But he knew. And he broke that bread and he said, "This is my body broken for you. This is my blood poured out for you," the cup. And he said, "Do this in remembrance of me." And that's what we do every Sunday. We do communion in remembrance of Jesus and the Last Supper and his sacrifice for us. The third egg has some silver coins. This represents the 30 pieces of silver that Judas did indeed betray Jesus for. He went to the religious leaders at the time who weren't fans of Jesus, said, "What will you give me if I turn Jesus over to you?" 30 pieces of silver. In the fourth egg, we have the little flower to remember Jesus praying in the garden. He went to the garden to be alone, and he prayed to his Father. He said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." And he was distressed because he knew what was happening. He knew his betrayal was coming. That's what Jesus did when he was scared. He went to pray. Our fifth egg has a piece of leather like a whip. Jesus was arrested in that garden, and they had used these leather whips to whip Jesus, the soldiers that arrested him. The sixth egg has some thorns. Jesus was sentenced to death on crucifixion. By crucifixion, that's on a cross. But because people were being unkind, they wanted to mock him and called him the King of the Jews. They put a crown of those thorns on his head, and they draped him in purple fabric as a mockery of his, calling him King of the Jews, because they didn't believe that he was actually the Son of God. The seventh egg has some dice. And to signify how the Roman guards played dice and gambled to take the last of Jesus's clothing before he was crucified. The eighth egg holds nails. These are little ones that would fit in the egg. These are the kind of nails that would have gone, pierced his hands as it held him to the cross. We need to remember this, how he suffered for us. The ninth egg has a sponge and a spear in it. Right before he died, Jesus said, "I'm thirsty," and a soldier held a sponge soaked in spices and vinegar, and then he died. And then as a last insult to him, he was poked in the side with a spear. He suffered greatly. The 10th egg held strips of linen cloth, and this would have been wrapped around Jesus' body before he was buried. The 11th egg holds a rock to signify the rock that was rolled over the tomb, the entrance of the tomb, which is where he was buried. Big rock was there. No one could get in and out. They'd have to roll this big rock away. This rock represents that. The 12th egg is the happiest egg. When Mary Magdalene and Mary came to visit Jesus, there was actually an angel there. He says, "Were you looking for Jesus who was crucified? He's not here. He's risen." And that is what he went through before he came back to life. Jesus was risen from the dead, and that is why we celebrate Easter, to celebrate. We can use this time to celebrate and find the positives in the situation. No matter what's going on, Jesus has risen. He's always here to love us. Even if we're in our house, if we're at school, if we get to go to church, if we get to go to the park, if we get to go to our yard, Jesus is always with us. So that is something to celebrate. Notice this beautiful stained glass window. That's something that Colton and I had done as a craft, a family project, which was very fun. That I will include the how-to to do your own window if your parents let you. And if your parents are like, "I don't want you to paint on my window," we also have another craft that's very fun. It's a painting of Calvary. These you can put on your wall, and the light will shine through. Just to say, I used freezer paper and just paint. And this is Calvary. That's the hill where Jesus was crucified. There was 3 crosses. And that's a craft you can do today with your family. And I hope you guys have a great Easter, and hopefully we'll get to do some more video Sunday schools if you want. Let me know. I love you, and God bless you.